As a parent, we raise our kids and we hope to mold them into respectful, hardworking, and honorable human beings. In today's first story, we are going to look at an instance where a young man at only 14 years of age ended up becoming a monster. A monster that seemingly no one saw coming. Welcome to The Cellar. Before we dive into today's stories, I want to give a quick reminder. If you enjoy what I do here on the channel, please consider subscribing and please turn the notifications on so that you never miss a new upload. You can also find my merch store and social media links, as well as the link to my audio-only podcast version of my episodes, all below in the description box of every one of my videos. Colleen Ritzer was a 25-year-old algebra teacher that worked at Danvers High School. Danvers is a public high school located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Danvers is a town in Essex County, Massachusetts. It's located on the Danvers River near the northeastern coast, just a short ride away from Boston. The town's population is listed as being around 28,000 total residents. Danvers was originally known as Salem Village. Historically speaking, the town is most widely known for its association with the infamous 1692 Salem witch trials. It was October 22, 2013, at Danvers High School. Colleen Ritzer was wrapping up an algebra class with her students. Colleen absolutely loved teaching. In 2011, she had graduated from Assumption College and was currently in the process of working towards a master's degree at Salem State University. Students and teachers alike stated that Colleen was always wearing a smile. She was friendly and very approachable, always taking the extra time to talk to students about school or whatever else was on their mind. As class ended and students exited the classroom, 14-year-old Phillip Chism and another classmate were speaking with Colleen. From my research, the class ended around 2 p.m., but students were allowed to stay after class to receive extra help for around a half hour or so. Phillip and another classmate would do so, and reportedly at first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Eventually, a conversation between Phillip and Colleen would lead to Colleen asking Phillip about his former home state of Tennessee. According to the other student, when the conversation about Tennessee came up, Phillip became noticeably agitated and angry. Colleen picked up on this and swiftly steered the conversation in another direction. Soon the classmate would say goodbye to Colleen before leaving the room. This left Phillip and Colleen alone together. To give some context before we move forward, Phillip Chism was a 14-year-old student at Danvers High School. It's reported that he had recently moved to Massachusetts from the state of Tennessee. Digging deeper, Phillip's home life was allegedly not a positive one. His parents in 2011 and again in 2013 had filed petitions for divorce. Now, I want to make it clear, Phillip's mother has denied a lot of these claims, so moving forward, these are allegations, so take them as you will. Phillip's father stated that Diana, Phillip's mom, would go through extreme episodes of depression. He would find her at times rocking back and forth on the couch for hours on end. He also claimed that Diana had a history of aggressive rage-filled outbursts, sometimes verbally abusing Phillip and his siblings. On the other end of the spectrum, Diana in 2001 laid out claims that her husband committed physical abuse, SA, and emotional abuse. Through further research, I found that Phillip's family had moved 8 times between 2007 and 2013, and for the most part, his father wasn't in his life during that time. To make things worse, it's reported that Phillip's father did not provide the family any monetary help, leaving Phillip, his siblings, and his mother struggling. When they finally settled down in Danvers, the family was living within a basement together in the home of one of Diana's aunts. Put it simply, Phillip's home life was a roller coaster, and allegedly not a positive place for any child to grow up within. With Colleen and Phillip alone in the classroom, soon Colleen would say goodbye to Phillip, where she exited the room and began walking down the hallway towards the women's restroom. Phillip would walk out of the classroom and gaze down the hallway where Colleen had begun walking. Soon, he would follow after her, entering the restroom just a few moments after Colleen did. By the end of the day, neither Colleen nor Phillip would make it home. Phillip's mother would report him missing at 6:34 p.m. that evening. while Colleen's family was soon reaching out to members of the school to try and find out where their daughter was. At 12:30 a.m. the next morning, Phillip was spotted walking along a highway and was picked up by the police. Upon inspection of his belongings, the police would find a bloody box cutter. They would ask Phillip whose blood it was, and Phillip would simply respond with, "The girl." The police would soon inspect Phillip's book bag, and in it, they would find Colleen's credit cards and a pair of her underwear. Police would ask for answers, and Phillip would inform them that he had taken them from Colleen's car. Around the same time, in the early morning hours, police and the school staff began searching the school for Colleen. They found her car still in the parking lot, but could not find any of her possessions within her classroom. The search would continue around the school property, and around 3 a.m. that morning, a grisly discovery was made. We will now dive into the chain of events. We have video for a lot of this, as Danvers High School had recently installed numerous brand new cameras. I do want to give some warning that what occurred within this story is not for the faint of heart. It's a truly horrifying case. Within the first piece of video, you can see Colleen Ritzer exiting her classroom and walking towards the restroom just down the hall. This occurred at 2:54 p.m. Around a minute later, at 2:55 p.m., you can see Phillip Chism almost debating with himself on what he's going to do next. He hesitates briefly before making his way towards the women's restroom. With his hood pulled up and gloves on, Phillip soon enters. "11 minutes later, at 3:06 p.m., a student then enters that restroom, but quickly exits. It's reported that this student thought she had walked in on someone getting undressed and had quickly left in order to give privacy. At 3:07 p.m., Phillip exits the restroom with his hood still on. During the next 7 minutes, Phillip walks through the school. Locating a large green recycling bin and eventually wheeling it up to the second floor bathroom. At 3:16 p.m., Phillip brings that recycling bin into the bathroom that he and Colleen had both been in. At 3:22 p.m., Phillip is then seen leaving the bathroom, pushing the recycling bin with him. Between 3:23 p.m. and 3:32 p.m., Phillip is seen bringing the bin outside the school. He begins to wheel it towards a wooded area behind the school dumpsters. At the time, he has a dark ski mask on his face. Jumping forward to 4 p.m., and Phillip is seen re-entering the high school. He is now barefoot. At 4:05 p.m., Phillip goes back to the bathroom for around a minute before he exits and proceeds to leave the school for good. Following these events, Phillip would travel to the Hollywood Hits movie theater. He would use Colleen's credit card to pay for a movie, and he would sit down and watch a Woody Allen film. The following day, Colleen was found in the woods not far from the school. Her body was covered with leaves in an apparent attempt to hide her body from discovery. The scene was horrific, as she was unclothed from the waist down. Her body was left in an S-explicit manner on her back with her legs up. It was clear she had been SA'd by her attacker, as a piece of a branch was found shoved inside her. Also by the body, they found a note that stated, "I hate you all." In the end, it didn't take police long to put it all together. Very quickly, they zeroed in on Phillip, and once the camera footage from the school was reviewed, they were able to piece the timeline together and find out what had went down. From the police's point of view, this attack was premeditated. Phillip had the box cutter, gloves, and ski mask all on him at school that day. After that final conversation took place in Colleen's classroom, she left to use the restroom. Phillip would soon follow and sneak up behind Colleen. He would overpower her in the restroom and began using the box cutter on her. He would continue his attack, and eventually, as Colleen lost blood, he would begin to SA her. It's believed he would then strangle her till she lost consciousness, before he finally went and grabbed the recycling bin. Now, some believe Colleen passed on in the bathroom, while others believe she was still alive when he wheeled her out into the woods. I hope for the sake of Colleen that she passed much sooner. I cannot imagine the horror and pain that she was already in her final moments. Finally, Phillip took her to the woods where he SA'd her again, including with a branch, and then he would pose her and cover the body with leaves. The entire ordeal was horrifying. Phillip would remain in police custody and was soon charged with the murder of Colleen Ritzer. Following a trial, Phillip was found guilty. He was sentenced to 25 years for her murder and to 40 years and 1 day for the SA and robbery. Those sentences will be served concurrently. Phillip Chism won't be eligible for parole until he's 54 years old. Now, I have seen it reported differently, as some places have reported that Phillip will be eligible for parole in 25 years. Not sure which is accurate, but in all honesty, I don't think he should ever be paroled. To add to my reasoning, I will tell you about what happened around 1 year after Phillip was arrested. Phillip was being held in a facility in Boston's Dorchester neighborhood. At the facility, a female worker proceeded to enter a bathroom located in a staff locker room. According to reports, Phillip followed her in with a sharpened pencil in hand. Sounds familiar, right? He waited for her, and when she came out of the bathroom, he proceeded to attack her. He punched her numerous times in the face as she screamed for help. Luckily for her, other staff heard her and managed to detain Phillip. He was eventually brought before a judge and was given a sentencing of around another 30 years or so. Based on this attack that occurred within less than a year of Colleen's brutal murder, I would say Phillip has lost any right to ever be a free man. In the end, this story is something straight out of a horror movie. I want to first send my deepest condolences to all of Colleen's friends and family. She did not deserve what happened to her. Now, to end this story, I wanted to read a statement that the woman Phillip attacked gave the court. It says, "Following this horrific and terrifying event, I remembered the bruises across my face, around my body, and my neck. His face still haunts me. That lack of emotion, just ready to kill. True monsters exist in this world. Phillip Chism is a monster." Thank you all for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoy my content, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel continue to grow. It's also very important that you hit the notification bell and turn on notifications, as you may not be alerted of my uploads if you don't do so. In the description box of every one of my videos, you will find a link to my merch store and a link to the Cellar Dwellers membership tier for the channel. If you're interested, please take a moment to check those things out. If you'd like to submit any kind of scary story or a story recommendation, you can do so using the email linked in the description box below. As always, I do all the research, writing, recording, and editing for the channel myself, so anything that you do to support the channel is greatly appreciated. And until next time, I will see you all again when we head back into the cellar.